Welcome back, visitors to the Bucky world. Whew, I was beset by some bronchial issues, and the coughing from that resulted in multiple muscle pulls. It's been a tough spring, but I've been keeping after it as best I can, and this year represents probably the most significant changes to my racing program here at Rennsport West Racing. Kawasaki Bomb ZX14 2006 Kawasaki Turbo, built by Ryan Schnitz, schnitzracing.com. Great folks, family-owned business right here in America, Indiana, I believe. Give them a call for your parts needs. Some of the changes I've made this year in here. MTC Gen 2. I don't know if it's a true slide or clutch, the most sophisticated piece of hardware I've put on this bike, probably. I've been struggling with basically a stock clutch application with a centrifugal lockup. The MTC is centrifugal off of engine speed, not wheel speed. So very, very eager to see how that combines with the two-step that I don't want to say installed, but I activated recently. I've also changed the gearing, put taller gearing on it. I've got a new I-back spring for the Penske Racing Shock, which is a longer spring, higher spring rate, should allow me to lower the bike more without rubbing the inner fender like it was previously when I tried to get it nice and low. Low, of course, avoids wheelies, and that's what you need to do when you have a 400 horsepower drag bike with no wheelie bars. Of course, change oil and filter, new set of plugs every season. Stripped the paint off the rear rim myself, mounted that tire myself. That was a little bit of a bear, but I'm glad I did it. Those of you who are regular visitors to the Bucky world probably recall some of the times that I've said, when you live in a cold place such as Eagle River, Alaska, you celebrate the passage of winter and the entry into spring. Some of those rituals are changing the snow tires to summer tires on your cars, coming outside and doing work outside that you couldn't do all during winter long, or maybe just because of the dark, you didn't feel like it. Another ritual of spring, of course, prepping the race bike. And that's what I've been doing best I can. Customized here. I filled the ram air hole on it because with the air filter down there, you don't need ram air. No point. I've already got 21 pounds of ram air thanks to that turbocharger. Got a new K&N air filter. Rymush is joining me. Anything you want to say?
Subscribe to Bucky Worlds.
Bucky Worlds, plural. That's my first channel. Bucky World on YouTube. That's my race, bikes, cars, gearhead type stuff. I've got some videos of Rymush riding his KTM Electric SXE5 on there. Check it out. You can have a good time. Got all the body work off still. I'm not going to button it up until I'm sure everything is okie dokie.
So you did the clutch?
Clutch is done.
Oh.
Yeah, everything's pretty much done. Had a bear of a time bleeding the clutch on this thing. And you know, it's something I don't do that often. So every few years, I've forgotten what it took to do it previously. And my first step in bleeding the clutch, I wrap a rag around the clutch master cylinder in case I spill clutch fluid. You don't want to do that. It tends to eat paint. Then I go down to the clutch slave cylinder, use my vacuum pump, bleed and bleed and bleed, curse and curse, spend hours and hours doing it and still not getting the results, still getting a flaccid clutch lever. Step 3, I go on YouTube, look it up, and realize there is a bleed port on the clutch master cylinder itself. I bleed from the master, bleed from the slave. 15 minutes later, it's done after beating my head against the wall many times. I'm my own worst enemy. What can I tell you? I double check, triple check, quadruple check myself. It's super important. I've done 174 on this bike. With the changes I've made to it, I'm hoping to crack 180 this year. And you really, no matter how confident you are in your abilities, there's no room for error. You do not want to wind up on your head at a buck 80 with Jersey barriers on either side and potentially a competitor right alongside or maybe coming up fast behind you. So I'm pretty sure I've done a good job looking my work over. And it's time now to fire up this bike. I've got C16 VP gas in there, thanks to Arctic Refrigeration, Anchorage, Alaska. There's Bobby over there, good dude. I can't think of anything else that's new, interesting, or exciting. So without further ado, I'm going to take another slug of PBR and let's see if we can fire this bad boy up. Again, Saki Bomb 2006 ZX14 Kawasaki, built by Ryan Schnitz and Schnitz Racing. One of the funny things about this bike, it's got massive injectors. They want to try to drown the bike at idle. So when I start the bike, what I do is I crank the throttle all the way open. That shuts off the injectors. I hit the starter button, crank the bike over for a while. Once it's oil circulating and the engine's up to speed, then I release the throttle. That turns the injectors back on. That's been the most reliable way for me to restart the bike. Sometimes those big pig injectors make it very, very difficult, especially for a warm restart, but it could happen anytime. So here we go. 2026 race season, the first official action therein, first fire. Power on. I'm going to go high power mode, not that it needs it. Key on, throttle open. Here we go. With apology, my AirPods canceled out the noise of my first fire on Sake Bomb. So I'm coming out here the next day to re-record with a proper mic. Hopefully give you I don't know, a turbo bike when it's just at idle, just revving up. Doesn't really sound like much. Sounds a little bit farty, but hey, you might as well get the full experience, right? Check it out. In racing, you know, I'll get it hot before I even run the thing in the quarter mile. By the way, 8.61, 174 so far. Shooting for 8.5s, 180 if I can get them. Boy, howdy. I might take it and get it dyno tuned, but I hate to dyno tune because these are wide open red line pulls that I don't get to enjoy. I'd rather just take it to the track and run it, even though I know it's fat. I know it's rich. I'm still debating that. The next video you see is going to be Sake Bomb and I in Alaska Raceway Park. Beautiful. One of the most beautiful racetracks in the world. Well kept, NHRA certified, Alaska Raceway Park. Michelle Lackey, the Lackey family. God bless you for what you're doing out there. I'm a very fortunate man to move to Alaska and have a world-class, gorgeous racetrack to race at. And frankly, I'm fortunate that the temperatures there are really over 80 degrees because once you get wrapped in leather, you know, I think about those poor sons of guns out in Arizona and Florida at the drag strip, swaddled in leather and roasting alive there. I guess my blood's probably a little thick from having lived in Alaska. Come back to the Bucky world and Bucky worlds, plural. Next step, slap the bodywork on, check tire pressures, get my gear in the trailer. And I think at that point, we're ready to go. Bucky here. Peace, y'all.